Back in the bookstore, so to speak. Don't take me seriously on that. I'm Christine, and we're talking about books and how to persevere against all odds. Again, I think today with the electronic publishing and Kindle, anybody can write a book, but it's trying to get the book out there. I had a couple of fun things happen, and I have to share them as long as I don't get distracted by side notes. In A Port of No Return, this was actually based on in the 70s. Once I graduated high school in Grants Pass, I went with a friend to Negril, Jamaica, and that's back in the 70s. And for 2 weeks, liked it so much, stayed for 3 months, can you believe it, and lived with a Jamaican family, and then met some my roommates, future roommates, who were over from Miami, partying in Jamaica, and every month they'd come back and see me and my friend there. So finally they said, oh, stop in Miami, which I did on the way back to Oregon, and I never made it back to Oregon. So in the course of deciding to stay in Miami, I got a job at an ad agency, believe it or not, and that began my whole life interest in marketing and advertising, which flash forwarded me to the 80s. Another job I got while I was in Miami was I inadvertently, kind of like our character Quinn, got hired by a friend to help deliver yachts. And that's what I did. I was the cook. Didn't pay a lot, but it was a lot of fun. And in A Port of No Return, a couple true things. The character sets the galley on fire 2 days after she's at sea. And honestly, I did set the galley of a yacht I was helping to deliver across the Gulf of Mexico from Cozumel. We were 2 days out, and I set the galley on fire. It's a true story. You can't make this up. What I didn't know is that the 4 or 5 guys who were also crewing this boat back had stored, were smuggling pot. And on that night's watch, when I made a comment about I knew fire was bad on a yacht, but I thought the captain overreacted. The guy, Cloud, that I was sitting with said, yeah, well, we have, I think it was 6 kilos, he said, of pot in the hold. And so inadvertently, I became a drug smuggler on my first real long-distance yacht delivery. And I even begged them to turn around and take me back to Cozumel, but they wouldn't do it. I swear on my mother's head all this really happened. So another thing, this book is contemporary, and it stands even, I wrote this in 2007, I think. But my whole Negril adventure happened in the 70s. No cell phones, and I wanted to be true to my reader and not lie, but I also wanted to talk about my experience in Negril because there were some fun times there. So what I did is I had a male Jewish doctor, a character, tell my story to the character Quinn, and it's kind of fun. And this was good points on the cruise ships when I would give the lectures, because everybody loves Dr. Felix and his story. He's telling the crew of the Zephyr about his Jamaica experience in the 70s, and it was mine. I just love that. Oh, the imagination and the things we can do with that, huh? So there's a lot of fun things you can, if you're not, again, I'm not out to write. I wasn't out to write War and Peace. I just, at my older sister's urging, because you always do what your older sister urges you to, I decided to pen everything. Except for this. This was something actually, believe it or not, I was writing this, and I was going through some old boxes, and I found the first chapter of a book I had started to type on an old typewriter in my little condo studio in Orange County. That must have been 1975. So The Devil's Valet, many years later, I found that first chapter and still remembered the character. I changed her name, but that's how this came about. So this book, actually, I started writing this about 1976. One chapter, put it away in a box. Lo and behold, how many years later, and it actually got the best review of all my books. So, where was I? No, I'm teasing. I went from writing books and to becoming the editor's pick on the death of a career, because finally, in anger and frustration, there is a third book in the sailing series that is still sitting in my computer. It's about 2/3 done. But in the course of the rejections, me actually starting my own publishing company, just to make sure that the manuscript got published, it was just becoming a bit too much. I couldn't spend the time and money printing the posters, running and doing all the stuff. So I decided again to start my own webzine. And again, that's not been an easy walk. It's been 6 years, but in the course of that time, I've met some wonderful people, media people here in town, a lot of entertainers and chefs. Again, I love interviewing people. It's my passion. I'm not here to be a critic. And if I don't like something, I don't write about it. So I just want to write through, put people in their best light, because everybody has a story and not everybody's a bad guy. More advice too, again, don't, once you do write something and you really feel that you've done the best that you can do, I don't care who you are. I don't care what you've done. Hire an editor. Do not try to edit your own work. And I was an editor back in the day, the AA in journalism. I have the AP style books, and I really thought I could edit a book. And an example of that, Port of No Return, I had an English teacher even. I did end up hiring a professional editor. But she kept pointing out to me on a certain page, she goes, "You have 3 major typos there." I couldn't find them. I went over that page with everything I had in me. What it was, and I couldn't see it because I was reading what my brain had told me to read, is I had used the word THERE every time I meant to say THEIR. And can you believe it? I never could find that, even though she finally had to point it out to me. So I hired an editor, professional editor. That's an expensive thing, and had him edit this book. I had this book edited and that book edited. There still were typos when they finally got published, and I hate typos, but you learn to live with them. Although this could be a collector's item because there was a serious typo. One word was left out, but I've corrected all of that on the Kindle edition, so it's really good that we do have Kindle. Now, back to VegasOnlyEntertainment.com. Starting that up was a lot of work, and I had to build a reputation in order to even be part of media here in town, and that was compliments of Las Vegas Woman magazine, and also always meeting deadlines, never saying that I would do something that I didn't do, and again, covering events in a positive light. Speaking of which, I'm going to a lovely event tonight at Fogo de Chão out in downtown Summerlin. And I'm having lunch with some media and Jack Jones. If anybody remembers Jack Jones, he sang The Love Boat, and he's an accomplished singer in his own right, has been, even despite that. I actually was at a New Year's Eve party where he was the entertainment about 1999, I think it was. He's got an album coming out called Seriously Frank. And it's a collaboration of songs that Frank Sinatra made famous and that Jack is singing. And that's going to be, he's performing that at the Las Vegas Academy Jazz, with the Las Vegas Academy Jazz Band, during the Academy's 3rd annual Experience the Arts Dream Gala on November 9th in the Pavilion Ballroom at the Rio. So Friday, I'm looking forward to having lunch with Jack. I doubt that, like Engelbert, he's going to remember me from, 10 or 15 years ago. But yeah, he's a great singer, great entertainer, and a lot of us remember The Love Boat. There's some good stuff going on at the Center Art Galleries downtown. The Art Galleries is a special 2-day show, November 6th and 7th from 2 to 6 p.m. with one-of-a-kind signature pearl necklaces from an acclaimed jewelry artist, Sigrid Insel. And she's going to be there in person, and she's donating a percentage of the sales to the Keep Memory Alive support mission of the Cleveland Clinic Lou Ruvo Center for Brain Health. So that's going to be a fun and a worthy event. We'll be right back. We're going to take a break here, and a shout out to Red Roof Inn, and see you in a few minutes.